So today's topic is, will apple cider vinegar heal your gut? So I see a lot of things about apple cider vinegar when I'm scrolling around on social media, maybe on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. You'll see things like, drink 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, once in the morning, once at night, heal your gut. Is that legitimate? Is it really going to help? Is it dangerous? Why do people do it? Because obviously it's not for the taste. It's vinegar. It tastes disgusting. So I want to kind of unravel some of the things about apple cider vinegar. A couple things. One, no, it's not dangerous. So let's just get that out of the way. I mean, unless you were just drinking absurd amounts, but I think it would just probably make you sick before it really necessarily, I guess, affect you. It would probably just make you throw up, or it would just make you feel really sick. But 2 tablespoons a day, definitely not dangerous. That's not something you have to worry about. Is it going to heal your gut for you? Let's unravel this a little bit. So first thing, let's talk about the benefits of apple cider vinegar, because I do definitely think that there are benefits, and I know a lot of people who've gotten a lot of benefits from apple cider vinegar. So one of the things that it's good for is helping if you have low stomach acid, so hypochlorhydria, low stomach acid. So a lot of times people have problems digesting food because there's not enough acid in your stomach. And what the acid in your stomach does, it actually helps to break down, help digest mainly protein. And so when you're eating foods that contain protein, they're very complex structures. They need to be broken down into smaller and smaller pieces, because when it comes to actual digestion and absorption, we only actually absorb basically amino acids and then di and tripeptides, which are basically strings of 2 or 3 amino acids together. So you have these huge, big, complex proteins that need to be broken down essentially into these little tiny parts. And so if you're not producing enough stomach acid, you're going to have a lot of trouble with it. And undigested proteins that move through your GI tract can be very irritating, can cause a lot of problems, and cause things like diarrhea, can cause inflammation in the gut, it can cause bloating, it can lead to things like leaky gut. And so apple cider vinegar can help break down protein, can help aid in the digestion of protein. I will say though, sometimes people take it and it actually makes things worse. So if that happens, don't keep doing it. It could mean a couple different things. It could mean that you have gastroparesis, so basically the stuff is not moving through your GI tract fast enough. It could also mean that you have some SIBO type issues. I don't want to get into that right now. Another thing that it does is it helps to stimulate enzyme activity. So, an enzyme is another buzzword that you hear a lot when you're talking about the body and digestion. So an enzyme is basically, it's a functional protein. So an enzyme is a protein that does something. And generally in digestion, what it does is when it bumps into a protein, it actually helps to separate the protein and break it down into smaller and smaller bits. So you really need to have digestive enzymes. And so one of the benefits of apple cider vinegar is it helps to speed up enzyme activity and maybe stimulate enzyme release, so we're actually able to break down foods quicker, better, more efficiently, so we're not having these undigested food particles going through our GI tract that can be very irritating to our system. A third thing that apple cider vinegar is beneficial for is when we start talking about things like dysbiosis, bacteria and yeast overgrowth, SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Apple cider vinegar can help to suppress and kill off the nasty bugs that can grow in our gut and overtake the good bacteria, and can lead to a lot of problems. Things like bloating, gas, acid reflux. A lot of times these bacteria, these yeast, they create really nasty toxic byproducts, and that can cause a lot of problems. They can cause a lot of inflammation, a lot of irritation in our gut. And then if you start getting into stuff like leaky gut, which a lot of these things go hand in hand, then all of a sudden these toxic waste products from these bacteria, from these nasty bugs, can actually leach into our system and just cause a lot of problems, can cause a lot of toxicity in our body, create a lot of other health issues that go well beyond gut related things, even things like chronic disease, mental health issues, neurodegenerative conditions. So definitely something, obviously our health is so important. So with all that being said, is apple cider vinegar going to heal your gut? Technically, the answer I'm going to say to that is no. So why I say that, and I think this is actually really important, an important delineation when we're talking about the health of our gut and how our body works. At the end of the day, the only thing that's going to heal you is your own body, right? So the apple cider vinegar is not going to heal your gut. Only you are going to heal your gut. The apple cider vinegar may help create a better environment for it to heal, and I think that's great. So let's say you do some type of apple cider vinegar challenge where you're taking a shot in the morning and a shot of it at night before you go to bed, and after 4 or 6 weeks, hey, you're feeling really good. I guess you can continue to do that for the rest of your life, and if that's what you want to do, great. Stuff's pretty nasty, and no one really likes drinking it. But if you're not going to change your diet and your lifestyle, you're not gonna start eliminating things and then providing what your gut needs, then you're just going to continue to have problems, and you're just kind of just masking some of the issues in and of itself. So I kind of want to talk a little more about, I guess, gut health and healing your gut, what you need to do. So if you want to use apple cider vinegar as like a catalyst to help kill off some nasty bugs because you are having some SIBO issues, great. If you want to use it to help you digest food a little better, great. But if you're not willing to make changes, not so great, right? So do I use apple cider vinegar when I work with patients that have gut issues? I don't. I feel like I have better protocols that I see better results with helping patients. And so I generally don't use apple cider vinegar unless someone has done it in the past and they really like it and say, hey, keep doing it. It's okay. So what do you need to do to heal your gut? Well, we need to remove things that are really inflammatory. And inflammatory and inflammation are both some more buzzwords that you hear all the time. And the definition I like, and I didn't come up with this, and I heard it on a podcast, I believe, and I can't remember exactly where, but inflammation is the body's immune process that it uses to replace or repair damaged cells or tissue. So we're talking about the gut. If you have a lot of inflammation in your gut, it means that a lot of the cells, the barriers, the immune cells, the cells that line your GI tract are being continually damaged, and your body is trying really, really hard to replace and repair these damaged tissues. So when a cell is damaged, it actually releases chemicals, signaling chemicals that brings in immune cells to help repair and replace these damaged material. And so if you have a lot of inflammation in your gut, it means that you have a lot of damage going on. So some of the things that are really damaging to our gut, common foods would be like lectins. So lectins are a family of foods, and lectin itself is a protein. Gluten is a type of lectin. And you get lectins in things like potatoes and beans. And lectins can be very, very damaging to our gut. There's actually a lot of different types of, they're called anti-nutrients, a lot of things that are found in plants and in botany. These are chemicals that the plant uses as basically defense mechanisms. And what I mean by that is, a plant doesn't have legs. It can't get up and run away if something starts eating it. So what does it do? They produce chemicals that are toxic to a lot of animals, that if you eat them, they can kill you. They can make you sick. They can irritate different parts of your body, and then animals learn, what plants they're able to eat, what plants they're not able to eat. And so a lot of these anti-nutrients, things like lectins, tannins would be one. Oxalates would be another one. These are all different types of anti-nutrients that can really be irritating to our gut. So for some people, they can eat, this much lectins in their diet and be fine, but other people, the same amount of lectins in their diet wreaks havoc on their system, and they have a whole lot of issues that they deal with. So just looking at diet, and one of the things I talk about with my patients is just because a food is good for one person, or just because everybody eats it, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good food for you, and you might not be able to handle it. That one food might be causing problems. But in terms of gut health, you can go lectin free, and that would really, really, really help a lot of your gut issues right there. When we're dealing with things like dysbiosis and SIBO, where we're talking about all these nasty bacteria, yeast, different bugs in your gut that can grow out of control and release toxic byproducts. Apple cider vinegar is an option. A lot of times we can use something like, it's called like an elemental diet, where we're just basically giving people a diet that's all the nutrients that you need, but with none of the things that feeds these nasty bugs. There are definitely some other really great natural antimicrobial agents that are really good healing for the gut. One that I'm a big fan of is called lauric acid, and lauric acid is an acid that's found inside of not coconut milk, coconut oil, and so it's a very great natural antimicrobial agent. Actually, the only other place that's really found in abundance is in breast milk, and it really helps provide protection and immunity for babies. You can actually use the lauric acid. You can add it. You can take a little bit of a day, and as it goes down, the lauric acid is really going to help to fight off some nasty bugs and help rid yourself of some of these nasty byproducts that you get when you have dysbiosis and other yeast overgrowth going on. Another thing, like supplements that you can take that are good, like glutamine and zinc, are pretty standard in terms of giving your body the building blocks, what it needs to heal things like leaky gut, if you have leaky gut or an intestinal barrier dysfunction. But really the biggest way to heal your gut is essentially stop bombarding it with things that are causing damage, that are causing the inflammation, that are causing the immune reaction. So things like nut and seed oils called linoleic acid. So it'd be like vegetable oil, canola oil, grapeseed oil. I mean, all those are pretty nasty, very inflammatory to our gut. They damage our gut. We talked about things like lectins, oxalates, anti-nutrients that are found in foods that are damaging your gut. Alcohol, different types of medications, both over-the-counter and prescription medications, can really sometimes play a big role in gut damage and gut health. Those are all things we need to look at. Physical stress, even like if you're someone that works out really hard, sometimes athletes have a lot of gut problems. Too much physical stress can cause a breakdown, cause a lot of inflammation, irritation where you're not digesting food. Whenever we look at gut issues, we want to try and go from what we call north to south. So we need to look at things like maldigestion first. Are you breaking down food particles? Because if you're not breaking down and digesting things like sugars and proteins and fats all the way, and as those go through, they're really irritating to your gut lining and the mucosal layer, the mucus layer, and so it can cause a lot of problems. So we need to make sure, are you digesting food first? Is there an overgrowth? All those things are in play. Gut issues can be very complicated. That's one of the reasons why when I work with patients in terms of gut health, I don't like to guess. I do a test for 5 different areas of gut health: the inflammation, dysbiosis, infection, metabolism, and my mind just went blank. Dysbiosis. I'll think of it here in a second. But so we want to test the 5 different areas of that are really important for our gut in order for it to heal and be healthy. Anyway, if you have any other questions about any of that, feel free to let me know. But I would say the overarching theme is, if you want to drink apple cider vinegar and you feel like it's going to help you, that's great. But I would recommend finding out what's causing your issues in the first place and make some considerable changes. That way you're not having to take the apple cider vinegar every single day, because in and of itself, the apple cider vinegar is not going to heal your gut for you. It's only going to help reduce some of the triggers of gut inflammation and gut damage. So hopefully this helps, and have a great day.